Alright, so we're pretty far into 7.21D. We're in the depths now. I think we've seen a lot of the changes, how they've came into play. I've certainly seen a lot of heroes that I think are super strong right now. One in particular would be Spectre. I feel like I keep losing to that hero in solo queue or winning with it, but that's not on this list. On this list today will be 5 new heroes that I think are underrated and probably not known in pubs, because a hero like Spectre, in my opinion, is on the rise. Maybe you don't think so, I don't know. But let's go into my personal top 5 heroes for this patch that you can try out in your pubs and hopefully capture people off guard, right? That's the idea here. I'm going to be giving you new ideas. Actually, I mean, they're just kind of reused ideas, but that's just Dota. Reused ideas that you can throw into your game so you can catch people off guard, or so that you can just have some fun, right? Because who doesn't love playing Dota for fun? But before we get into the video, I just want to say once again to all the people who did enjoy my drafting video. I know it was a more minute audience, but I'm doing a lot more drafting videos on the website. I'm going to be keeping those going because I think it is a very niche topic. As I've said in the previous video, I really love doing it. It's a huge passion of mine, and I think for a lot of people who are seriously committed about being competitive Dota players, this is a very important topic that they need to learn. So I'm going to keep doing that on the website. If you're interested, definitely check it out. And yep, I'll hopefully see you there. So number 1 on my list is Enchantress offlane. Now, this hero at TI8 was easily the most contested hero for the majority of the tournament. It was obnoxious, super hard to lane against. It just took all your towers. It did probably the most damage of any hero in the early game. It did everything. It felt like it did literally everything. It won you the lane, it won you the mid game, and could even scale into the late game. It was hard to see where Enchantress had flaws, but after many nerfs in the recent patches, Enchantress began to fall off. But now, in the last 2 patches, Enchantress has received buffs. In 7.21C, Enchantress received a buff to her impetus, and in 7.21D, Enchantress received a strength increase by 1, and an intelligence increase from 17 to 19. So, the hero is progressively coming much better. In addition, I'm seeing, at least in a lot of the competitive games that I've been watching, a lot of these strength heroes such as Earthshaker and Earthspirit staying in the meta, or at least making their resurgence, right? And what do these heroes typically need, or at least want, in the laning stage? And that's a ranged hero that is sustainable and can often 1v1. That's why heroes such as Nature's Prophet and Pugna are fantastic in many situations with Earthshaker and Earthspirit, because when they leave the lane, as these roaming heroes, they don't want to have to worry about their offlaner dying. And I think Enchantress really fills this gap. In addition, with Enchant only being a 10-second cooldown at max, you can take over multiple creeps, take towers easily, and I highly recommend trying out Ring of Bacillus Rush on Enchantress. I think this item is absolutely incredible. It allows you to pressure the lane super hard, and please do not skip Enchant. If you're going to try this out, take that spell, use the creep in lane, and then I would recommend saving Untouchable until the later levels, because it's only really good at level 2. So until you are around level 7, I would say focus on Enchant and your Nature's Attendance as well as your ultimate to dominate your lane. Next up is Warlock. Now, I don't want to go into depth about Warlock because this hero is straightforward, but I genuinely think it's very good. Now, lately we've seen Abaddon as the healing support, the meta healing support, but what happens when Abaddon gets banned out? Or you feel like you need more teamfight, right? Then you can pick Warlock. I genuinely think that these heroes provide just about the same thing. Abaddon is a lot more straightforward and you can deny yourself, which makes him a lot better in the laning stage. In addition, he has a Purge, making him a better defensive option than Warlock, but Warlock has a fantastic teamfighting spell in Fatal Bonds and his ultimate, right, the Rock. In addition, Upheaval is super underrated. That spell is devastating. You literally can't move. It's like getting stuck in quicksand, even though I've heard that actually does nothing. It feels like you can't move, even if you're in it for less than 4 seconds. It's an incredible spell that is highly underrated. You can put Warlock with Troll Warlord, Morphling, Spectre, any of these super hard carries, and they're near guaranteed to at least have a decent lane, which is super important. Coming in at number 3 is Omni Knight. Now, I can't say that this hero is actually truly one of the more underrated heroes of this video, because I've seen quite a bit of teams actually picking Omni Knight. The amount of heal and sustain you get from Omni Knight is unparalleled. Purification giving 300 health at max, and Heavenly Grace giving 28 bonus strength, 50% status resistance, and 20 HP regen for 12 seconds is ridiculous. I'm not going to do the math because that's not what I do, but I can guarantee you, if you purify someone and put Heavenly Grace on them, they will not die. In addition, you have your ultimate, and you have the ability to carry. Why is this so good? Because you can play from behind, you can just play as the defensive sort of Omni Knight that we often see either from the from the fools that play this hero as a support. Maybe it's not that bad, but from the fools who play this as a support, or you can play it as the hard, manly Omni Knight, the offlane Omni Knight, the one we truly love. I'm an offlane player myself, and I really like to see a nice, manly Omni Knight with this radiance barreling down the lanes, making things happen. Because this hero can carry the game. He can solo carry the game. Heavenly Grace giving you 28 strength makes you hit super hard, near impossible to kill, and a very good laner. In addition, you have Purification to farm, so you kind of cover the qualifications of a snowballing offlaner. All you got to do is get to a Radiance, which costs so much gold, but if you can get there, you're going to have insane amounts of impact, be impossible to kill, and probably win the game by yourself for your team. Next up on my list, moving into cores, is Clinkz. Clinkz, in my opinion, is one of the most threatening last picks in Dota right now. I think he has pretty good matchups against a lot of the ranged popular mids, one in particular being OD. I really like this matchup. Now, of course, Clinkz has to be careful, as one OD ultimate can shred his HP pool, right? However, Strafe completely dodges all OD's right clicks, and your ultimate is impossible for OD to deal with. I've talked about this in, I believe, some other video, but the point stands, where basically Clinkz plus a stun makes it near impossible for OD to fight previous to an armor item. And ODs in particular typically go for armor items as their 4th or 5th item, either in a Shiva's or maybe in an AC. The point being, Clinkz has a lot of nice matchups that match up well against the current meta. In addition, I think he does very well in snowballing lineups, which I'm a huge fan of right now. He can do well with heroes such as Lycan, Slardar, Shadow Shaman, all these heroes that run around and make things happen. And for that, I think he's a great mid laner that truly catches people off guard. If there's any hero in this list that will catch people off guard, it's Clinkz. His ultimate is super confusing. No one truly understands it because it hasn't really been in the meta since the change. So I think if you begin to fully understand the potentials of this spell, you're going to be way ahead of everyone else and destroy pubs. And last on the list, we have Gyrocopter. Now I'm going to do this entire segment in my Gyrocopter voice, which I'm pretty sure sucks. Okay, moving on, because you'd probably hate me if I continued in that voice, but genuinely, I mean this. This is coming straight from the heart. Gyrocopter is fantastic. The hero is like 1500 HP with a few stat items at level 10. 1500 HP. 1500, that's a lot of HP. Not only that, you can buy a blade mail, and then your teammates will report you, you'll easily lose 25 MMR, and you're gonna blame me for it. So don't go blade mail, but honestly, if you go some sort of like Magic Wand, Wraith Band, Phase Boots, drums, stat build, you can run over the early game and then snowball with some sort of like an Ags Maelstrom BKB build scaling into the late game. In addition, you can get a Satanic, which is fantastic. That item is super good. And these items really enable Gyrocopter to be effective at all stages of the game, right? You buy these really cheap stat items that allow you to enable these strengths of Gyrocopter, which is abusing level 7, which is your maxed out Rocket Barrage, insane, and your level 6, which is another nuke on top of your Rocket Barrage damage. Basically, if you can get away with the early laning stage in Gyrocopter where he's a little bit weak due to his semi-low base damage, it actually has been increased. It got buffed, so his relatively low base damage and his poor ability to actually harass and pressure in the early levels, if you can get past that, you're going to crush heroes. Absolutely crushed. I've seen a lot of mid laners even pick this hero up because levels are so dominant on Gyrocopter. And I think these 5-man snowbally lineups, or at least 4-man snowbally lineups, do very well with a hero such as Gyrocopter. Let's say, for instance, your team picks up a hero like Medusa or OD, then maybe you don't want really like a farming core because there might just not be enough space on the map. You want someone to fight. Gyro is a really nice filler for those team comps where you feel like you just have way too much farm priority on your map. Let's say you're in the 2K bracket and your offlane picks PA. What's your response pick? Gyrocopter. I'm telling you, I think this hero is very good. I would expect to see it coming up more in the pro scene. If it doesn't, you can comment whatever you want down in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, but before I leave you, I just want to let you know and remind you that over at gameleap.com we have thousands and thousands of guides made just like this one by top tier pros so that you can learn the game of Dota in depth and gain MMR as fast as possible. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video of my top 5 underrated heroes currently, please do like and subscribe to help the channel grow. And of course, I'll see you in the next episode.